Okay, great to see you all, and let's have a look, start sharing. Okay, so I didn't have a very good day. Let's get this out of the way first. Yesterday on the live, because I called GBPUSD for a buy. Sorry, I've set it up as an indicator because I was looking at BYOB for it this morning. And it did seem to follow the confirmations. And this is where you have to put emotions behind you in trading and trust the system, trust the process more than yourself. Because even if you do get, if it goes the wrong way, then more times often than not, it will go the right way. And if you can trade and continue to trade and compound sensibly in difficult times, like the winter period when the markets are still getting back up to full speed, then you know it's easier to make money in the good times and think you're a good trader spring through to summer. But it's when it's challenging that it kind of forces you to really think. So I had a session last night on Go Live on channel 20, because as a lot of you know, I follow Chance and Samantha, because I used this system that I follow long before we had BYOB, Be Your Own Bank. So Chance actually happened to say, post any pictures of trades where you want us to discuss them, you know, if you felt they didn't go the way you wanted to, or what you felt you did wrong or right. So I did post it, and he said, I didn't say I'd done it on the live trading, but he said, let's just go back to it. He said that I was too far away from the quarter theory, which, as you know, is an aggressive line of support and resistance. You may be drawing those what we call pointy bits, which is absolutely fine. I just use that instead. It's 50 pip increments. And I was in, so this was the 10th, so it was in, this is on the hourly though, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about here, wasn't it? 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'll have to go down lower. And of course, our confirmations using the Harmonic Scanner and the quarter theory and the pitchfork, which again is just a trend line, sorry if the dog's whining, is that we should be quite close to the quarter theory. So this is on the 15-minute, but when I called it, I was about here, 1 o'clock, there on that line, on this line here. Sorry, that's from something else. Let me just get rid of those. So I had about a 20 pip stop loss, which wasn't right at all. And I don't know why I was thinking that. I was looking right in this area for getting into the trade. But what I need to always remember to do is have, and I keep saying it that I'm going to do it, and I do it, have things like a trend line or support and resistance or quarter theory, these invisible walls between where you're going with your trade and with your stop loss. And I was too far away from the quarter theory, so it didn't have like the boomerang, like the ping effect, so it dropped down, and that's what happened. So my apologies for that. I did get GBPUSD right this morning. Again, I was on with Chance. He actually got stopped out, and he's a master trader. I had 15 pips stop loss on it, and I did 22 pips on the buy, and that was the news that this morning. I was in before the news. I was lucky that it didn't take me out, so that was going back round about here. Oh, quite a bit further back. Let's put it on the 5-minute. It didn't spike that much. The news caused it to go up about 34 pips. There it is. Here it is here. Mute yourselves out. That's helpful. Otherwise, I have to stop sharing. So this was the news here, and I was in on this buy. Now, as I say, Chance is a master trader. He called it live. We got in for the buy. People got stopped out. but I didn't get stopped out, and I don't quite know why. But I stayed in it, and I didn't do the 34 pips up to that line, but I did close out at 22 pips. So, you know, it happens to the best of us. Sorry about the dog. I don't know why. Benny, stop it. It's looking at the TV, but it's only got a coffee cup on it. I've got YouTube on. So let's go to the Harmonic Scanner. I did have some that I was looking at today. Now, Paul confirmed this one. This is AUD NZD, Australian dollar. Let me just see if I can minimize this for a moment. So here's AUD NZD, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and you can see that it's now come down the 20 pips. Paul does 15%. There's the 20. It's quite a slow moving pair, I think. Now we can just take these points off the Harmonic Scanner. This is a sell scan. So if we write down what that's got, and then we can have a look at how I've drawn this up. So we've got entry 1.05061, and you've got a take profit. So you can see it's calling it 50. It's calling it right at the top of the D point, but we like to get in a bit lower down once it's confirmed the 20. So it may well come back up and retest. We'll have a look at what it's doing. I was looking at it earlier on, and then we've got take profit 1 at 1.04359 and take profit 2 at 1.03927. And if you are staying it for a long time, it could take quite a while. Then take profit 3 is right down at 1.03234. But of course, we don't know how long that will take, or if it will actually go that far. So here it is drawn up on TradingView, and this is on the 15-minute, because again, you need to think about the time frames that we're getting in on trades. And I only enter on the 1 minute to get the precise entry. I look at the trade on the 5 or the 15-minute. I'm sorry if you can hear the dog clattering his bowl around. I did feed him before the call, but he's obviously wants more. He'll have to wait now. So you can see on the 15-minute, what I've done is, let me just move that across, is it's above the 62 EMA, which is a moving average line. It's similar to your Ninjacator. If we put the Ninjacator on, the purple line that you can see running through there is your 50 EMA that comes up as part of the wonderful programming that Kevin has done for us. It's just that I happen to use the 62. They're quite similar. So I've got price above mine, but at the moment it's still below the 50 on the Ninjacator. So I was waiting for this to come back up. This is my little line here. Come back up, set off my alert. In other words, retest that D point, the entry point that the Harmonic Scanner is called, and come back down below quarter theory, which is this rolling line of support and resistance, and then come back down below the 50. And then we know we've got some pips. You can see how wide the Bollinger Bands are. I haven't put the Heikin-Ashi on yet. So is anyone else looking at this or in this for a sell at the moment? No?
Sorry, I'm looking at the moment because Paul called it earlier.
Yes. So did Paul get in, or I wasn't on his session this morning?
Yeah, Paul got in quite quickly. I sort of held back a little bit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I was waiting for it to just come down a little bit more on this orange line here. But it doesn't look like at the moment that it's going to go back up and retest that line, does it? So that's all good. So now we've got the Ninjacator on the 5 minutes saying sell, and we've got it below the purple line, just coming below the orange and the purple line. So I don't know how clearly you can see that. So that looks like we could get in this, but it is, if you want to get in this, you can. You've got quite, although you've got quite narrow Bollinger Bands there, but we are on the 5 minute. on the 15 minutes, if we put the star flip on, I don't know what these blue lines are that come up. They're not anything I can get rid of. They're not something I've drawn, which is a bit strange. I think it's come off the Harmonic Scanner. I can't. There they are. That's a weird one, isn't it? Because that's not me drawing on it. Very odd. So please ignore those. But it is coming down now on the 15-minute, but it is touching the edge of the Bollinger Bands, and not a lot of room for pips there if we put the stochastic on. So the stochastic hasn't got it above 80 at the moment. So as I say, I was waiting for it to come back up and retest before getting in. So I'm probably going to wait for that, and it is quite a slow moving pair. We could look on the 30-minute. I don't tend to go, and that has got sell on it on the 30-minute. I don't tend to go on the 30-minute. I go up to the 15-minute on BYOB. This is really weird. I've got all these brush marks happening. Yes, I haven't got the brush highlighted.
Sarah, I think sometimes that's somebody who's got a touch screen, you know, like touch screen, and they've been twiddling around on the screen.
Well, I haven't got a touch screen.
No, I mean, it could be a view, one of us. It could be one of the people viewing who's done it.
Oh, very odd. Sorry.
No, not me, because I haven't got one, but I know some people do, and that can happen.
Oh, right. So has anyone on this call got a touch screen that's scribbling on the screen? Because I've never ever had this happen before. And if so, can you please erase all these weird marks? Because I can't do anything about that. I wonder if I put it on dark mode. Anyway, we've got, if we put the high Kanashi on, we have got a cell come up on the indicator on the 30-minute, which indicates it's taking a little while to move. But at the bottom, you can see we are not in the extreme. We are not below 20. And we normally like to be outside the purple box to say that it's oversold, and therefore we've got a good range, a good width on the Bollinger Band for the buy back up. So on the 30-minute, that's saying that it is coming back up. And on the 15-minute, it doesn't look to me like I'd want to get in at this stage on this one. I'm confident, I mean, Paul's in it. I'm confident that it's a good scan. It's hit the 20 pips, and also that'll be Paul's 15% line. But at the moment, you know, you're going to have to kind of wait it out, because it may go back up because it's halfway in the purple box saying that it's being bought again. And your Bollinger Bands have got quite tight. So there isn't really an entry, I think, at the moment on this one. You've got a few, you can see how tight the Bollinger Bands have gone there. So it could be that it will move a bit later on, because I know the best times to trade New York are sort of Sharon's session from 2 p.m. UK time through to 4 p.m. So the market may be moving in a little while, but it's not moving much at the moment. So I'll just put it back on the 15-minute, and I hope when I move to another pair, we may see that these lines disappear. So that was AUD, definitely a sell. Keep an eye. I'm sure Sharon may be looking at it in her session. I'm waiting for a retest for it to go back up to the over 80, and then I will get in. I'm thinking it'll do something like that. I mean, it may not. Sometimes price just drops down, but I'll be keeping an eye on it this afternoon. So that's AUD NZD. And oh yeah, that's strange. It came up on my, I definitely don't have a touch screen though, and I don't touch it anyway. That is so strange. I just don't know what to do about this. How very odd.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened to me before when I've done a Zoom. As Sharon said, other people, it's called I think it's called the scribble or something. You can actually, can't remember where it is, but somewhere in your Zoom options, you can actually switch it off. So you can have a look after this live call. You can actually go in and switch it off so other people can't draw. It's like a drawing tool.
Oh, thanks very much.
And some people do it by accident on their mobiles and don't realise. I think that might be what's happening.
Right, okay. Well, I'm very sorry it's making it look even more like sort of child's
Don't
version
worry.
of whatever, because it's not helpful, is it? But I mean, it's not perhaps a good idea to hold up the call and go on Zoom and sort it out, is it?
No, exactly.
No.
But
Okay, then I won't do that then if that's
No.
that's what we think. So the other one I had one other. It's still there. I had one other that was, let me go back to the scanner. H1 Euro GBP, Euro Great British Pound, was a shark, but I didn't draw this because it's a bit small for me. I like 80 pips minimum. That's 74. Then I've got 20 pips per leg of the pitchfork. And I only use pitchforks because I find it easier than drawing a load of trend lines. That's all pitchforks are trend lines. So you can see if you wanted to look at this one on a shorter time frame, then it's giving you on the scanner, which is free with your package. If you are an IM member, then you can go into im.center, go to strategies on your left hand menu, click on that, and that will bring you to the products, and you'll see the harmonic scanner come up. So you're not paying extra for this. It's just free. And let's see, it hasn't started moving yet off that D point, but it's giving you an entry of 0.8441 with a take profit one of 0.84579. So that's Euro GBP. And I thought I had it up here.
Sarah, don't we have some Euro news at 2 o'clock?
Thank you for reminding me about Forex Factory.
Yeah, and we've got, well, on Paul's session, I've written down Euro news at 2 p.m, GBP 3:30.
Yes, perfect. Thanks very much. I've forgotten to look at it again.
No worries.
So that's 3:30 UK time, GBP because I'm Paris time, and then USD. That's someone speaking at 3 p.m. as well. 3 p.m. UK for USD. Oh, great. Thanks a lot. So if we've got Euro news at 2, then we need to be careful on that. So I'll have a quick look at it. Can you see my face, by the way, or have I minimized it? Can you see me, everyone?
I can see you, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. I can't see myself, that's all. Not that that's anything to worry about, just the Zoom controls. So let's see if these blue lines are coming up on other charts. OrdCAD alert went off at 1:30, that's 12:30. So Euro GBP, move that across, the lines have gone. It's falling off the edge of the scan. It's a buy scan, but you can see it's coming down. So probably not one for us at the moment. And we've got the news coming up, and it's a very slow moving pair anyway, Euro GBP. Just change it to the 15-minute. So at the moment, it's still continuing its downward trend. It's under the 62 moving average. It's under quarter theory. So that's all pushing. You can see how it's touching the 62. That's all pushing price down. So it probably will fall down to the next level, which is another 27 pips down to quarter theory. So it's kind of doing its own thing at the moment. I can see it's got an old scan in there.
Sorry, Sarah, could you ask Warren to mute out, please? I put it in the chat, but he keeps popping up over you.
Oh, okay. I can mute him. He's cooking his lunch again or something. You're welcome. Hang on, let's go back to the share. So I just want to put on this. So if you are looking at Euro GBP, it is a sell at the moment, but not one we probably want to get into, because there's an old scan coming up. Now, once you've drawn scans, if you've drawn them accurately, they last forever. These pitchforks, they're trend lines that are there forever. So what that's saying to me is it's at least going to go down to, there's about 10 pips there at the moment, but I haven't got it actually in a scan at the moment. So I'd be looking myself for it to be a buy if it's going to come back above, which will probably be tomorrow's session now, back above this orange line, which is quarter theory. So I'll just make a note for myself at 0.84500, and at the moment, as you can see, it's going to go down there. Let's just put the indicator on, see if you can see anything there. So that is saying sell. I'm on the 15-minute, so that's up to you guys if you want to do that, because it's outside. It's outside my scan, except it's gone into an old one, but I haven't really looked at it on that basis, and we've got news coming up, so and it's a slow moving pair. Let's see if I can move that up. I was trying to get so you could see this. So you can see it saying it's oversold. That means it wants to come back up again if it's outside the purple box. But you know, there are a few pips there, but the Bollinger Bands are very tight, and it's outside the Bollinger Band, so it's going to ping back at any minute anyway. So we don't want to look at Euro GBP anymore. Later I'll come back and set myself an alert along this line here, see when it's going to turn back up that way. But you know, you can set alerts on your indicator, add alert on the indicator, come there and then move the box here, whether you want to buy alert or just a sell alert. You don't really need to bother with the 80 and 20. You can make that own judgment yourself. We took the 80 and 20 off on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to close that one down. So AUD-CAD, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. I don't have a scan for this at all, and I did look on the scanner, so I set it up to show you as a BYOB because I thought it might be a buy. But hell, you know, I'm not always right, as we know. Wish I was. So the stochastic is saying that it hasn't been in the extreme and it's coming back up, but it's not a trade at the moment on the 15 minutes. And that is saying sell. So it's kind of in conflict. It's in consolidation, very tight Bollinger Bands, and it's just running along your 50 moving average. And the reason I had it marked up like this is because I was waiting to see if it would either break my 1 minute trend. This is a 1 minute trend I've drawn on, or whether it's going to come up, whether the my orange line, which is the 62, is going to come up. I was waiting for it to break up above this blue line, which is my 15-minute moving average, and then that would give me confirmation that it was going to be a buy. But I haven't got anything else on AUD-CAD at the moment because you can see it's in the middle of a scan. It did peak there, but it wasn't good. It's on Heikin-Ashi. It did peak there, but it wasn't a good candle shape. You've got a wick, and when you get into these, you want to get into them where it's not a wick, it's a solid bottom. So you did have it there, and it is moving down actually. So at the moment it's moving down, and it will probably come down to that orange line. which is exactly where your 50 moving average is. And the orange line is quarter theory, so that's a very strong line of support and resistance. So from there to there is 12 pips, but at the moment you've got a very wicky candle, a spinning top shape, and that's called a doji. And that means that price is saying it doesn't know whether it wants to go up or down. It can't decide what it wants to do. But you have got a gap. You have got a gap of some pips there, but it is in the purple box. And normally we like to take our trades either outside in the extreme above the 80 or below at the 20 down there. So you can see if you got in down here on the 15-minute with a flat bottom candle, then you could have ridden it all the way up there, and that would have been, even if you waited till it said buy, so wait till the quarter theory or round about there, which is that line of resistance, and then it went up to the Bollinger Band edge. It's gone up 35 pips. So that was a nice little move this morning, and that wasn't even New York session, because Australian dollars are an Asian session and Canadian dollars this afternoon now. So that was quite a good move, wasn't it? In London. So that's AudCAD. Let me just, I'm going to close that one. Oh, this is IM Center, and this is Harmonics, which is what I click on to get onto this here. But you can see I've got no more new, there's our one that we're looking at here. You can see it's consolidating at the moment, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Now they are very similar pairs. I don't trade AN very much because the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are so closely linked. But this was a good setup. And then Australian dollar, JPY, Japanese yen, it is moving down. I don't think I drew this one myself because it's 68 pips. It's under my 80. But again, you know, you can come and look at this for free. It will give you a trade entry. And if you go back through old ones, let's just pick this Euro NZD, then you can see mostly, unless it heads off up there, which means it's a failed scan, and 89% of them are good to go, then you can see, you know, generally, you know, they are very, very good. So you can just come in here if you can't find something on Vibrata. Make sure it's on your local time zone. Down here, if you are going to draw it yourself, there is a video in my group on how to connect the dots and copy and paste these onto your trading view and put the pitchfork on. And we'll pick one more just for you to have a look at. Here's the GBP USD one, which was an hourly scan. That's a buy scan, so that's the one we've just been discussing, and you can see it is heading up to take profit too after the news this morning, but I haven't got in it again myself. So that's how the scanner works. You can go to the 15-minute one if you want to take smaller scans. There's a small Euro Japanese yen one. Some of them are bigger. I do sometimes draw them off here. That's it, and you'll see it says 377, but that's called pipettes. So the decimal point goes 1 point in from the last digit, except for Japanese yen, which is slightly different, but that's 37 pips. So I wouldn't be drawing that, and it's gone 6 pips. But again, if you want to take smaller, if you want to look at these prices and put them on your BYOB with your indicator, then you can, you know, practice. If you're new in here, if you're on the 7-day free trial, then you could take these figures and put them on your trading view and take the trade, or just do it on your demo account. Come back here free. Well, no, you can't because you're not a member, but we can give you some of these figures on the sessions, and then you could practice on your demo account. Right, so Euro NZD, I've got nothing. Trying to stay away from some of the Euro and GBP. I've got nothing on this because it's just kind of falling down to this point here. So I wouldn't be wanting to look at this until it's, I'd set an alert down here. It's just kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. It's come off that one there. So nothing there. But if we put Ninjacator on, it's saying sell. Put it on the 15-minute. So it's a very nice scan. You can see it's respected the break and the retest at the D point. It keeps saying sell me, sell me. It did spike up there to the quarter theory, and then it's on its way down. So it's hitting this line of resistance, and I'd be looking now for it. If you want to look at, you've got quite actually this is quite nice on the, you could look at it on the Ninjacator. And Euro NZD is a pair that I like. It's a quite fast moving pair. And it is saying sell, but I don't like the fact it's got to get through this line at 1.70500. Just would like to see it go through that before getting into it again. And if we put our stochastic on, see what that tells us price is doing. And at the moment it's saying on the 15 minutes that it is outside the 20 zone. So it's saying it's oversold, and that's correlating with the fact that it doesn't like that orange line. So these orange lines are just me putting them on at the click of a button. They're called automatic quarter theories. They just click on and off. If you've got the free version of TradingView and you're new, then I strongly recommend you stick with Paul and BYOB, and you're going to put the Heikin-Ashi candles on number 1 for every trade you do. Number 2, you're going to put the SAR flip on, and that's one of your, you can have 3 indicators for free. And then number 3, you're going to put your Ninjacator on, that's this one here. Sorry, 1, 2, SARS, Ninjacator, and the stochastic, because that is the easiest system, because Kevin has developed the Ninjacator, which tells you where to buy or sell. So it's very easy for you to start to be consistent, practice taking trades on demo, write down why you took the trade, what went right, what went wrong, how many pips you got. Use your FX book calculator if you want to get into lot sizes, and obviously look at Forex Factory. So this isn't a sell anymore at the moment on the 15-minute. Let's look at the 5-minute. And the 5-minute saying it's oversold. So it's obviously thinking it wants to reject the orange line, and it'll probably then come up like back up to there. And it's got to work its way here, because it's caught now between that trend line, pitchfork, and quarter theory. And then it will decide it's going to do that. Price can only do 2 things, or, and it's a bit of a lag there, it's going to do that. So that's what you've got to keep an eye on when you're thinking about getting into a trade. So if we took it up to the 1 hour, and the 1 hour is saying it isn't in the extreme, so there's nothing for us on the 1 hour. It's got to make its mind up, but it should be selling because it is a downward scan. So I'm going to keep an eye on that for a sell, but I want it to sell after that line there, which is sell after 1.70500, because that's a strong line of support and resistance. And then that can be, I'll just go to the 1 minute because that's where I usually measure from. You wouldn't be using the 1 minute for BYOB for your entries. Stick with the 5 minute and the 15 minutes or longer. I know some of the traders on here like to do the 1 hour and above. It depends on your trading style. So once it's, you can see how it's now, it's gone back up. So it's rejecting that. It's rejecting that line. So you can, if you like, think about, now remember I'm on the 1 minute, you don't want to get in on the 1 minute, but you can, if you're so inclined, I only take usually, unless it's a very big scan, if it's a sell scan, I'll only be taking a sell down to the median line. In other words, after it's done 40 pips, that's 2 lots of 20, then I'll do buy and sell. But you have got 27 pips. You can do, the trend is your friend, remember, that's what Paul always teaches us. But you can do a reverse trade as long as you've always followed your confirmations and feel comfortable while you've got into a trade. Because we looked on the longer time frames and we could see that price is swinging between these two bands at the moment. But for me, I'd like to take it down to after quarter theory, and then that would be TP1 at this pitchfork at 1.70322. Having said that, I got caught yesterday, didn't I, where I was entering too far away from quarter theory. So at the moment, I'm trying to stick to my entries being off the pitchfork because they're very aggressive trend lines. Once I've had a break and a retest of 10 pips, then I know, I've got it kind of as best I can for an entry. I'm just going to measure what the scan is. So that is actually quite a big scan. It's 46 pips between those two pitchforks. So that is where I break my rules with permission, because this is what chance teaches us, that it's okay to get in off a break and a retest off the quarter theory if that's in the middle. So I would then be thinking about this doing something like that. So break and a retest of that line, and then go in for the sell. But keep an eye on your stochastic. You want it to be above 80, whatever time frame you're looking at. You want it to be overbought, and then you know it's going to drop. So that's EN. I'm going to put that on my watch list. And I wasn't very good at doing my watch list yesterday. I'm sorry, got a bit carried away with things. So that's EN, and it's obviously thinking about news maybe now. That's EuroCAD. I've got nothing there. It's a downward trend, but it's not liking that level. So again, it's coming back up to retest that line probably, and then drop back down. But I haven't really got anything to go off there at the moment. And EuroCAD, let's just look at it on where it was on the scanner. So it has come down. It has come down quite nicely. It's respected all the levels. And you can see how this is the importance of the 62 EMA. The 50 EMA is similar on the Bollinger Bands. So you can see what if price is doing that, where it's coming up and testing it and being held by it, that says you're still safe, that it's going down. And now it's crossed over the 15-minute, and you may notice in some of my posts I talk about that. Then I really love it when it does that. That gives me a lot of confidence to get in for a sell. So here I'm on too big a time frame for me, but there's the break and retest, there's the crossover, and then in for the sell. While it stays under the 62, you know that you're good to go. It's stalling on that quarter theory line at the moment. And remember, I'm looking at a euro pair, which has got news coming up. And on the 15-minute, it crossed over actually an Asian session. These give you the session. This is the sessions indicator. Shows us what sessions we're coming into. Except I don't think I've got that on the right settings. Let me just check. No. I had them out and I had to redo them. I always keep mine in the same colors, and it's very good for back testing, seeing where price actually moved using this little indicator. And you need to put on a code if you do want to download it from indicators. If you're a member and you've got the paid version, and the code is FORMA18. That's better. So you can see we're in London. I've got Tokyo for green. So it helps me understand where price has stalled out, made its moves. So in London, it hasn't done a lot. It's just gone between the two, and it's still going between the two. The 62 is pushing it down, still pushing it down. We've got the news coming up. But if anything, I'd be still looking at this for a sell. But I want to see it come down. On the 1 minute, it's broken above the 62, so it could well come back up there to test this. You see how it tests that line? It tests the 15-minute, then it comes underneath. So how many pips did we have there? There's 10 pips there. It always sucks back to the 62. Price will always do that. So I'd be looking at that as a sell, but there's nothing that really excites me about that, particularly as we've got news. So I'm going to close that one. Just thinking in our last sort of 10 minutes before let's have a look at GBPUSD again. And that is still coming up. But remember, we've got news at, we've got news on this, haven't we? So it's in 40 minutes. So we probably don't want to be getting into this yet, but you can see this is an upward scan. Very fed up to get caught out on it yesterday. I felt bad about that. Let's just take it to the 15-minute. So there's your D point. It didn't actually break and retest the D point. Sometimes price doesn't do that. So it's come right up here, stalled out for a hell of a long time. So from yesterday tea time right through to open of London, it only did. And that's why I think the markets have been a little bit. They are warming up, but a little bit challenging. Just wondering where my rectangle. So you can see here. Just trying to get it onto that wick there. So it only moved in. So this is why you don't want to be stuck in trades which are doing nothing. 17 hours, and it only moved 16 pips. Absolute sort of torture to be stuck in something like that. So you don't want to be stuck in something like that, and that's why you want to wait for your confirmations or for price to break and retest and then go. So if we go down to, so I still like this for a buy, but not at the moment with news coming up in 40 minutes, and it is a solid scan. So you can see once price stays above the 62, then and here there's the consolidation, but it's coming up again now. So it is working its way up to this level here, which is, well, the first one you want to take note of is that one. So GU as a buy, but not till after the news, at 1.29500. And for me, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere at the moment. So I don't want to look at it at the moment unless it came back down and tested that line again. And then a take profit up at that next level would be 1.29618 or thereabouts, because obviously they're slanty lines. So the price changes as the time goes on. So I still like GBPUSD, but not at the moment. Now, GBP Australian dollar, I was thinking about this for a buy, back up to that level, because there's the median point. In other words, where half the pitchfork, 2 pitchfork legs, it's hit that. That's a big swing there. So it's done a lot of, it's done quite a lot. And it is, again, you see it's got a, I wouldn't want to look at this until it's above there. So nothing, unless it's going to reject off that and come down. So it could do, if I put it on here, this is what I'm looking for price to do. Either do that or do that, because it can only do that or consolidate along like that. Price only does 2 things, and once it's done this, it's then got to make a decision where it's going to buy or sell. It's got to do one thing or the other. So nothing, and I'll come back after the end of this session and put my alerts on and get rid of that one. Shut that down for the moment. And USD JPY, I've had a bit of a problem with this one because I'm really struggling to draw the scan. I think it was on this one. Because I took it from someone else. Whoops. I took it from someone else, and I just cannot see the scan. So I'm not convinced even at the moment that I've drawn it properly. But it wasn't, I couldn't find it on the scanner to show you. I think it came off Oanda, but it is a nice sell scan. So don't look at my trend line specifically, because I'm still struggling. I've been struggling last night and today to draw this one properly, and I have no reason. I don't understand why I can't draw it properly. This is what I've taken it off. Where's it gone? I said I'm struggling with it, and someone in the Telegram group has given me their drawing of it on the 30-minute, and I still can't draw it. And then I went to Pitchfork and looked at it on Chance and Samantha's, and I still can't draw it. So I just don't know why I've got a blind spot with it, but you can see it is a sell scan up to about 110. It is valid. It's just I don't trust my pitchforks. I'm still going to have to try and figure it out. So what you've got at the moment on it, if we go to the 15-minute, we'll put the indicator on. But bearing in mind, you've got Japanese bank holiday. Is it today? I think, was that yesterday? Might have been yesterday, the 11th. So I did draw this up to show you, but I'm not convinced I've got my trend lines right. And it is dropping now. So I was waiting for it for the 62 to cross. I've been looking at this for quite a few hours, and I drew myself a very generous trend line at the lowest of the lows. I draw them at the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs. And what I was looking for was the break and the retest of the 1-minute trend, and it's dropping. So ignore the fact my pitchforks might be slightly off. This is definitely selling. So if we put it on the 15-minute, that is exactly what I was waiting for. And even though the 62 is still well above the 15-minute, so we've had break and retest of the pitchfork. Even if I'm slightly off, that's definitely happened. A break and a retest of the 1-minute trend, and prices below the 62, which is exactly what I was waiting for. So let's put our indicator on, and this will be a very good one to finish with, because you can take this off BYOB. So indicator on, SAR flip on. Let's make this bigger for you. There. And stochastic. Now stochastic is saying on the 15-minute that it is oversold, You can see it wicking out and it's outside the Bollinger Bands. You have got a flat bottom and you have got USD news. So if you don't want to get into this now, because we could look at the 30-minute, you've got wider Bollinger Bands. Candle hasn't closed fully below the 50 line, and it is conflicting at the bottom because it's saying it is oversold. But whatever time frame you decide to look at this, I still think it's there's a sell that's come up on the hourly with a flat bottom, although it's wicked out there, and it's still above the 50 and my 62, and you've still got some room down there. So if we took that to the edge of the Bollinger Bands from where the wick is, that's only 8 pips, but there are a few pips there, but that's saying it's slow moving. But I still like the look of this one myself, but you've got to make your own decisions on your confirmations. And as I say, I'm not quite convinced I think I've got the D point accurate. I don't think I've got the next levels right. I'm pretty sure I've got the D point okay. So I think this trend line is okay on there. So that's about it for me today. That is coming up now to the last 4 minutes. And let's go down to the 5-minute. We didn't do the very short time frame one. So you've got very narrow Bollinger Bands. You've got it saying that it's oversold, but it's outside the 20. So that's saying it wants to retrace. It wants to come back up. So it may well come back up and test that either the 50 or the 62, the purple line or my orange one. They're both similar. They're both running exactly together there. And you can see how price has done that here. It comes down, it retests, it comes down, it's hitting that. So it may well come back up and hit that. So it is working its way down. But it's and you've got lower highs forming, but you haven't got lower lows yet. So you're looking for another low to come up as well. I use something called pivots, which is just again another indicator that you can click on and off there. So a bit of conflicting information when we put the BYOB on. I like it though, I think. But wait till after news. So that's UJ news coming up, but possible sell on there. I haven't got any figures for you yet on that. That's another USD one. And we could look at one last one. Maybe look at, I haven't looked at CAD JPY at all today. Oh, that's because I've set an alert and it hasn't gone off. So I set an alert because even though it's a downward scan, I thought that it would come up and hit that, but now the 62 is crossed down. That means it wants to fall down here. So I'll probably move my alert to here. And if we're looking at it on the indicator, put that on. That's again consolidating at the moment. And you know, it's not doing very much at all, is it? It's just a lot. It's been, oh my goodness me, that is incredible. It's just been like that all day, done nothing. And a little bit of a move here and that was at New York Open. It's moved 14 pips, but it's now coming back up. And then I've got another little thing that I put on to see the general direction over the 15-minute. Come to the 15-minute. So it was a sell scan. It's hit the extensions. It's being pinged back in. That's not going to help us now. I can take that off. So it is coming down for the sell, but you haven't got a SAR flip yet, I don't think. Yes, we've got a SAR flip, but no buy signal, no sell signal coming up on the indicator yet. we had one there, so it's probably still under that one on the 15 minutes. But it is now at the outer edge of those Bollinger Bands on the 15 minute. And you've not got it in the extreme, so that's saying it's going to turn back up on the 15 minute. But it is still saying it was sell there, it was sell there, but not very good candle shapes. You ideally want those. Make sure I'm on the Heikinashi. You definitely want to wait for the flat bottom candles. See if I can get that to come up there. Just expand it a bit for us. That's better. So although you've got the flat bottom candles, you can see it's now hit the edge of the Bollinger Bands. It's not in the extreme, so it's just ranging along at the moment, but it should still continue its downward trend at some point. Look on the 30 minute. The 30 minutes still in a sell down there with some pips, and it's got a wider band. So you have, now it's coming below those two. If you wait for it to go below the 50, we'll just finish on this. I think we've got from the 50 line down to the edge of the Bollinger Bands on the 30 minute would be, that's about 20 pips there. About 20 pips, but you just need to watch your purple box in your stochastic, because as I say, ideally you can see where the sell came up there on our indicator. We wanted to be in there, and then because you've got a flat bottom candle, you've got plenty of room to down to the 50 line, and then you can take it down further, and that would have been, if we didn't get in till an indicator called it, you would be up. Oh, does it not work on there? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like you can measure it on there. Didn't know that. If I take it from the sell there down to where it is at the moment, there's your 20 pips. So that's how powerful an indicator is, and that's on the 30 minute. But as you can see now, you're reaching the Bollinger Band down here, and price is coming down to that 50 line. So you have to be careful that it, it could turn on you at that point. That's why sometimes we take out half our profits at the 50 and then leave the rest to run. And we use something called Exit Manager, or on your phone, you can press close half your lot size, and then close again. So if you've got $12 lot size, close 6, and then you're left with $6 lot size. So that's the other way we do it as well. So we've just come out of time. I hope that was helpful today. Sorry we didn't call a trade. I didn't really like the idea of Euro and GBP and USD news. But enjoy yourselves all on Sharon's session. I'll be having a look to see if anything's going to move.
Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.